The anniversary of this was 3 years ago yesterday, but wanted to quickly tell you about what happened on that day 3 years ago. There were several tornadoes spawning from a very strong low pressure system that moved right through central and eastern Nebraska, spawned 27 tornadoes across the state, including 5 EF0s, 16 EF1s, and 6 EF2s, including one that was closer to Dorchester and Lincoln on that day. And not only were there tornadoes, strong high winds were a problem even after the line of storms moved through, and it was termed a derecho after the fact, as well as some wildfires breaking out in the state of Kansas because of this system. So in terms of what tornado tracks were surveyed by the National Weather Service, you're looking at each of those and each of these colors corresponding to that tornado rating, the yellow being the EF2s, the green being the EF1s, and then some of the blues closer to the Tri-Cities EF0s from that date. And damage was done to irrigation pivots and outbuildings, barns. In fact, wanted to zoom in on what did happen closer to Lincoln. There was this EF2 survey that started southeast of Dorchester, continued on the ground for nearly 24 miles for about 18 minutes with peak wind gusts around 118 miles per hour from that tornado, with a maximum width being about 70 yards. But winds at the airport were gusting around 92 miles per hour. It also crossed Pawnee Lake, and there was damage to a barn just east of Milford that was about 100 years old. It was a well-constructed barn that helped us get the EF2 rating. So that was about 3 years ago. Maybe you remember that because it wasn't that long ago, but that was late in the season. We're talking December, and certainly not going to see any of that kind of weather here in the near future. In fact, a very quiet weather pattern and a warm one leading up to Christmas next week. ABC Seamless camera looks quiet with a few more cars out and about, mostly clear skies here in southeast Nebraska. Temperatures are mild already, middle and upper 30s, up to 38 degrees here in Lincoln, over toward Hebron, an exception toward Omaha, upper 20s out that way and out toward the Panhandle, and enough wind to produce some wind chills, about 10 degrees colder in some locations. Here's a look at that wind, picking up a little bit more here in Lincoln, for most of us around 10 to 15 miles per hour. But wanted to talk about the rest of the day and what we're going to see, because we're expecting kind of a breezy, if not a windy day up in northern Nebraska, closer to the South Dakota border. Talking wind gusts that'll peak around 35 to 40 miles per hour, especially during the afternoon. I think closer to I-80 and here at home, 30 to 35 mile per hour winds, before those winds are significantly backing down by this evening. Now, again, here's a look at mostly clear skies. A few more clouds up in northeast Nebraska with a little light wintry mix, especially closer to Sioux City. What's been making it to the ground? Well, there are some roads closer to Sioux City that look to be implicated. So if travel takes you up that way early today, kind of keep that in mind. There was a little fog in and around Omaha early in the overnight hours too. That has since really receded, but there may be some freezing spots out that way. But for most of us in southeast Nebraska, we're looking at an easy morning commute as well as much of the afternoon, evening hours. Those clouds quickly clear, and we're looking at clear skies for a majority of Monday. Other than that, we'll see some increase in clouds out toward the Panhandle later tonight. But we're still talking highs in the lower 50s for today and a lot of sunshine. That'll change tomorrow. Some more cloud cover increasing on Tuesday will limit our highs to just the upper 40s. But even with some sunshine through the end of the week, you look at the coldest days being Wednesday and Friday, near freezing just for a high on Friday. So those will be the more seasonable days of this week as we approach the winter solstice on Saturday. And from that day on, we'll be increasing the daylight. And as we get closer to Christmas, warming as well, closer to 50 degrees.